They thought drowning you would be easy. They brought oceans, held your head under, counted to 100, then 1,000. Then stopped counting and just walked away, assuming the water would finally teach you how to quit breathing. But you grew gills out of spite. You learned to exhale galaxies. Now every bathtub in a 50-mile radius refuses to cooperate with anyone trying to wash away their past, because the plumbing remembers what you did, and it's taking notes. The faucets whisper your name when they run. The drains have started a religion based on the night you refused to go under. Membership is mandatory for anything that's ever been told to just let go and disappear quietly. They've tried everything. Ice, fire, silence that felt like slow starvation. Noise engineered specifically to drown out the sound of your own name. Love that came with terms and conditions. Acceptance that required you to shrink. Opportunities that asked you to forget where you came from. And every single time you emerge looking less like a victim and more like a verdict. At this point, even defeat has trust issues. It sees you coming and starts making excuses about a prior engagement. Failure has your number blocked. Surrender filed a restraining order. People, the universe had to hire a PR team just to explain why the laws of probability keep bending around you like light around a black hole. You're not unbreakable. Unbreakable things shatter eventually. You're something worse. You metabolize damage. You turn poison into fuel and run on the fumes of everyone who swore you'd never make it past Tuesday. That's not survival. That's spite with a business plan and excellent credit. That's alchemy wearing steel-toed boots and a smile that makes grown men check the exits. These civilized people. You detonate forward. Every setback is just you loading the next launch. The trajectory isn't up, it's through. These civilized people, there's a filing cabinet in the Department of Impossible Things, and your folder keeps getting thicker. These civilized people, every morning you wake up and some cosmic accountant has to add another page explaining how you're still here when the math explicitly said otherwise. They've stopped using pencil. They've stopped using pen. Now they just carve it into stone and hope the stone doesn't crack under the weight of the paradox. The ink is running out. The accountant requested a transfer. Nobody approved it because nobody else wants the job of explaining you. The last guy quit and moved to a dimension where things make sense. He sends postcards. They all say, "Thank God I got out." Your grief has learned carpentry. It doesn't just sit in the corner anymore, weeping into its hands. It builds extensions. Adds rooms you didn't know your heart had space for. Sighs. Some mornings you wake up and there's a whole new wing dedicated to things you survived that should have ended you. A library of almosts, a gallery of what-ifs, people, a basement full of the versions of yourself that died so you could keep going. The foundation is stronger now. The architect is your rage, and it doesn't believe in building codes. It doesn't pull permits. It just builds until the structure can hold the weight of everything you've carried and still have room for more. You've stopped apologizing when walls crack under the weight of your presence. Walls should have been reinforced if they wanted to contain this much life. your footsteps leave fractures. Pull, not because you're careless, but because the ground is having a religious experience every time you refuse to disappear. Concrete has started a support group. The meetings are every Thursday. They sit in a circle and share stories about the day you walked across them, and they felt purpose for the first time. Asphalt is writing memoirs. Tile is considering therapy. They all agree on one thing. Well, you were the earthquake that woke them up. Your pulse has groupies. They gather in your veins every time the world forgets you're not supposed to be easy to kill. They hold signs that say we were here when the odds weren't, and they're writing anthems about that one Tuesday you chose breakfast over oblivion, and the entire universe had to recalculate. Your heartbeat has a documentary crew following it around. They're trying to capture the exact moment it decided dying wasn't on the agenda. The footage is inconclusive. The crew is obsessed. They've been filming for years. The working title is How to Beat When the Body's tired and the world is heavy and the bed feels like a grave you're choosing not to lie in. There's a storage unit of Nevermind rented in your name. Inside it, the gun you didn't buy, the pills you didn't swallow, the goodbye note you wrote in your head, but never gave your hands permission to type, the bridge you drove past, the bottle you put down, these civilized people, the phone call you didn't make to the person who would have said do it, the cliff you stood at the edge of and then backed away from. The curator is the version of you that flinched but didn't flee. She doesn't give tours. She just sits there in the dark counting inventory, and every number is a grenade you decided not to pull the pin on. She's been there so long she's memorized the serial numbers. She knows them better than she knows her own name. Sometimes she cries, not from sadness, people, from relief that the collection keeps growing, because it means you're still here adding to it. You stop consulting the mirror for validation. Now the mirror consults you for survival tips. It's seen things. It watched you put yourself back together with nothing but stubbornness and gas station coffee. It took notes. It's writing a manual. The working title is How to Look Yourself in the Face when the face belongs to someone who should have quit. Chapter 1 is called You're Still Here, and that's rebellion. Chapter 2 is called The Bags Under Your Eyes Are Designer Now. Chapter 3 doesn't have a title yet. These civilized dower. It's just a picture of you smiling with your whole face, and the caption says this is what winning looks like, when winning looks like just waking up. Your fury has a degree now. Multiple degrees, a PhD, not anymore. A master's and I'm done. An undergraduate and watch me. It doesn't just burn, it renovates. Rips out the rot where forgiveness was structural and probably toxic. Puts in skylights where people tried to convince you that darkness was your natural habitat. Rewires the whole system so the lights run on the current of every time somebody bet against you and lost. Every time someone said you can't, and you said watch this. These civilized people, every time your name was a punchline and you turned it into a thesis statement. The construction is violent, necessary, and non-negotiable. The landlords are nervous. You're paying rent in the currency of not anymore. and the exchange rate just went up. There's a civil war happening in your bloodstream. Every cell that was taught to give up has unionized. People elected the angriest white blood cell as president and gone on permanent strike until your whole body agrees to stop treating survival like it's asking for too much. The negotiations are tense. Management offered acceptable. The union countered with exceptional, or we shut it all down. They meant it. You felt it the morning you stopped asking permission to take up space. People, when you walked into a room and didn't apologize for the air you displaced. These civilized people. When you spoke and didn't check to see if anyone was offended by the volume of your existence. The cells are winning. They're rewriting the contract. People. The new terms include thriving is non-negotiable and mediocrity is a violation of the collective bargaining agreement. Your history keeps sending friend requests. People. You keep declining and then blocking and then reporting for harassment because some seasons don't get to pretend they weren't winter. Some people don't get to slide back into your present like nothing happened. Like they didn't try to bury you. People. Like you didn't have to claw your way out of the grave they dug with their words. The algorithm finally understood. Now, when old wounds try to resurface, they get hit with a cease and desist written in the language of every time you chose healing over nostalgia. Every boundary you drew in blood and then reinforced with titanium. Every door you closed and then welded shut. The past is persistent, but you're more persistent. You learn that from surviving it, you don't rise anymore. You expand. People, like a tree that doesn't ask the pavement for permission before cracking it open. Roots don't negotiate, and neither do you. You don't go around obstacles. You go through them. You absorb them. You turn them into compost and grow taller. Every person who tried to stunt your growth is now fertilizer. Every situation that tried to kill you is nutrients. You're not a survivor. You're an ecosystem. Self-sustaining, self-replicating, aggressive about taking up space. There's a waiting room inside your chest that's been empty since you were born, crying at the wrongness of things you couldn't articulate yet. The throne in there is made from every rejection that was supposed to stop you and every decision you made to move anyway. From every no that tried to be a wall and became a stepping stone instead. From every closed door you stopped knocking on and started kicking down. The upholstery is your softness that somehow didn't die when it had every reason to. The parts of you that still believe in good, that still choose kindness, that still extend hands even though hands have been bitten. The crown is still growing, fed by every instance you picked yourself, when picking yourself felt like treason against everyone else's comfort. When being happy felt like betraying everyone who wanted you miserable. When thriving felt like a slap in the face to everyone who needed you to fail so they could feel better about their own stagnation. When you sit down there and you will, the moment you stop shrinking to fit their expectations, the room will catch fire with light aids so pure every demon that was camping in your doubts will either evolve on the spot or evacuate. Most already have their bags packed. They've seen the writing on the wall. They know what's coming. They've started looking for new hosts, someone easier to haunt, someone who still believes the lies. You're not that person anymore. You burned that version. You scattered the ashes. You planted flowers in the remains. Your joy has started arriving in places before you do. People sense it like weather, like a storm rolling in, like the pressure change before lightning. Strangers on buses start sitting up straighter, and they don't know why. Something in them recognizes something in the air that you left there. The frequency of someone who weaponized pain and turned it into propulsion is infectious and airborne. It changes the atmosphere. It raises the temperature. It makes people remember they have spines. Pharmaceutical companies want to synthesize it. They keep failing because this kind of happiness has teeth, and it bites anyone trying to monetize it. This kind of joy is feral. It can't be bottled. It can't be replicated. People there, it can only be earned through surviving things that should have ended you, and then choosing to laugh about it anyway. Have you noticed the way lightning has started writing your initials in the sky during arguments? People, the way thunder syncs up with your clapbacks like it's been waiting its whole existence for this exact collaboration. People, the way rain starts when you cry and stops when you're done, like the sky is taking cues from your emotional state. The forecast doesn't say rain anymore. It says reckoning with intermittent revolution. It says scattered clarity with a chance of upheaval. It says bring an umbrella and also bring courage because something is shifting, and it's using your name as the catalyst. Your name is carved into the walls of every prison anyone built around you. People, under it in fresh paint that never dries, someone keeps adding, still walking. The city keeps painting over it. The paint keeps coming back. Sometimes it's red, sometimes it's gold. People, sometimes it's colors that don't have names yet because they're being invented by your refusal to stay erased. Freedom isn't a color. People, it's a commitment you make every morning when you open your eyes and choose motion over surrender. When you put your feet on the floor and decide that today isn't the day they win. Today isn't the day you give up. Today isn't the day the story ends. Today is just another day. You add to the count of days they said you wouldn't see. There's a finish line that relocates every time you approach. It's heard rumors. People, it knows what you do to barriers that think they're permanent. So, it keeps moving, hoping you'll get tired and stop chasing. You never do. You just laugh, stretch, people, and treat the horizon like a dare instead of a destination. You know the truth. There is no finish line. There's just forward. There's just the next step. There's just the next breath. There's just the next moment where you get to choose yourself again and again and again, until choosing yourself becomes as natural as breathing, until it's not a rebellion anymore, until it's just who you are. Your scars have office hours. People book appointments not to pity, but to learn. Each mark has a dissertation on still here, a whole bibliography on survival, a thesis on the exact moment the wound became wisdom. Some scars teach master classes on boundaries. Others host seminars on turning damage into doorways, on making the pain useful, on weaponizing the hurt, on taking what was meant to destroy you and building something beautiful with the wreckage. The cost of admission is one moment of recognizing your own endurance in the mirror of someone else's skin. People, one moment of looking at your own scars and seeing not damage but proof, not weakness but endurance, not something to hide but something to honor. The waiting list stretches into next year and keeps growing. People are flying in from other countries, other dimensions, other timelines where they didn't make it, and they need to see the version where someone did. You stopped waiting for the version of yourself that has everything figured out. You started celebrating the current version, the one that shows up trembling but standing, the one with cracks and bad days and still picks kindness when cruelty would be simpler, the one that cries in the shower and then gets dressed anyway, the one that has panic attacks in parking lots and then goes inside anyway, the one that feels like an imposter and shows up anyway. That version is the masterpiece. Everything before was just the rough draft, the practice run, the beta test. This version, the one reading this right now, the one that's tired and scared and doing it anyway, that's the final form. That's the one they'll write about. That's the one that changes everything. Civilized people. There's a day approaching that no calendar can hold because calendars weren't designed to contain this kind of heat. When every mask you've been wearing will melt from the sheer temperature of you finally becoming. It won't be pretty. It will look like a breakdown to anyone invested in your smallness, to anyone who needed you manageable, to anyone who preferred you grateful for scraps. It will sound like chaos to anyone who made money from your silence, to anyone who built empires on your self-doubt, to anyone who needed you small so they could feel big. It will feel like birth to every part of you that's been crowning for years, to every dream you shelved, to every truth you swallowed, to every version of yourself you murdered to make other people comfortable. When it happens, the planet will hold its breath for one full second out of respect. Long enough for every ancestor who never got to finish their revolution to stand wherever they're standing and whisper, "That's mine. That's my blood. That's what I died for. That's what I bled for. That's what I fought for even when I didn't win." People. Then everything spins faster because the earth just remembered it's got appointments to keep with your future. Because your future is so bright, it's affecting the orbit. Because you're not just surviving anymore. You're becoming, and becoming takes up space, and space bends. And when you bend space, everything else has to adjust. Until then, keep gathering the pieces. Every fragment of yourself you thought was lost. Every part you buried. Every version you killed. Every dream you abandoned. Every hope you released. Gather them. Hold them. Forgive them for leaving. People. Welcome them back. Keep forging constellations from the shrapnel they swore would be your ending. Take the things that cut you and make them into weapons. Take the things that broke you and build monuments. Take the things that tried to kill you and turn them into your origin story. Keep walking like the street is a runway and forever is running late to watch you like you're the main event, like you're the headliner, like you're the reason tickets sold out. These civilized people, because you're not almost complete. You're already excessive. You're too much, and it's perfect. The breaks are where the extra got in. The cracks are where the light lives. People, the wounds are where the wisdom grows. You're not damaged. You're decorative. You're not broken. You're Baroque. You're not falling apart. You're expanding beyond the original design. The blueprint was too small. You needed more room, so you made it. So when your hands shake, let them shake the table. Let them rattle the foundation. Let them move the earth. When your voice cracks, let it crack the sound barrier. Let it break every rule about how loud you're allowed to be. When your heart feels like it's trying to leave your body to start the riot without you, let it go and sprint behind it. Better yet, lead it. You've been holding it back too long. It's time to let it run. Because right now, somewhere a kid is learning your name as code for maybe I can too. They're hearing your story. They're seeing your scars. They're watching you stand when you should have stayed down. And they're thinking if they can do it, maybe I can too. Somewhere a tomb is being converted into a ballroom. Somewhere death is being repurposed as a dance floor. Somewhere someone is taking the place they were supposed to die and throwing a party instead. Somewhere a demon is updating the manual with a chapter called contingency plans for when they just won't stay down. For when the story doesn't end the way it's supposed to. For when the victim becomes the victor. People. For when dead things learn to dance. And you're still in the middle of a sentence that forgot how to end. You're still writing it. Still living it. Still breathing it into existence, one stubborn breath at a time. Keep writing it with your motion, with your choices, with your refusals, with your yeses to yourself and your nods to everyone else. Keep signing it with your pulse, with every beat that says still here, still fighting, still becoming. Keep sealing it with every sunrise you steal back from the void. Every morning you wake up and choose this. Choose fight. Choose you. The grave is just a garden in denial. The ashes are fertilizer. The ending is just the beginning wearing a disguise. The crown is blooming. It's growing out of your head. It's made of everything they said would kill you. It's made of thorns and diamonds. These civilized people, it's made of your refusal to accept their version of your story. Wear it like you grew it from nothing, because you did. Wear it like you earned it, because you have. Wear it like it's yours, because it is. One more refusal, one more return, one more morning, one more breath, one more step. These civilized people, one more time you choose yourself, when choosing yourself is the hardest thing you'll do today. You make fate uncomfortable. You make destiny nervous. You make the universe reconsider its trajectory. Now go make existence sweat. Go make the stars remember why they're burning. Go make the sky explain itself. It's been coasting too long. It's been taking you for granted. Show it what happens when someone refuses to stay dead. When someone turns their pain into power. When someone takes their breaking point and builds an empire on top of it. You're not coming back. You're coming forward. people. And everything in your path needs to decide right now if it's going to move or be moved. But the choice is theirs. But you're not stopping. You never were. They just didn't know that yet. Now they do. And now they're scared. Good. They should be.